as you guys are saying, I told you, the justice system is rigged. I don't know how many ways people need to say that, see it for themselves, research it, dig on it, and not understand that the justice system is rigged. And we've been saying that since the beginning. We went through court cases. We went through private investigators. This is how we have the insurance and the documents and the things and the receipts that we have, because we have been through this so many times before, where the victim is the one who gets the most hell and the predators walk.
Y'all, Alli Carter is back and she is not holding back. If you thought Diddy was done dodging bullets, think again. She just dropped a bombshell. Allegedly, Diddy paid a $50 million 0 cents bribe to make that RICO charge disappear. Now, let's be clear. Alli is saying this wasn't just some hush money. This was next level damage control. We're talking feds, legal teams, sealed files, the whole nine. But here's where it gets wild. Alli says that money didn't just go into one pocket. It allegedly made its way through a chain of folks, including names tied to the church. She even hinted that some of these churches might have been used as a laundering front. Tax-free donations, legal protection, public trust. It's the perfect cover if someone wanted to move dirty money around without raising red flags. And get this, Alli brings up celebrity names too. People allegedly connected to Diddy, folks who were suddenly quiet when all this heat started. She even suggests that Kris Jenner, of all people, might be knee-deep in this, pushing this whole holy hustle narrative. Let's break this all the way down, because if what Alli's saying is even halfway true, this is bigger than we thought. Alright, so let's talk about Alli Carter, because if you don't know who she is, this whole thing might sound like just another conspiracy. But here's why her voice is shaking the table right now. Alli first hit the scene a while back claiming she was trafficked through the same high-powered circles tied to Diddy. She didn't just name him, she also brought up other celebrities, music execs, and religious figures she claimed were involved in this dark network. At first, people brushed her off. They called her unstable, attention-seeking, or just flat-out crazy. But then, things started lining up. When Cassie filed her lawsuit against Diddy, a lot of the patterns she described, control, manipulation, abuse, and high-level cover-ups, mirrored what Alli had already said months earlier. That's when people started paying attention. Even other women in the industry began backing parts of Alli's story. Folks who never knew her, yet shared almost identical experiences. Now here's where it gets real. Alli disappeared not long after that first wave of attention. She stopped posting, went silent, and her videos vanished. People assumed she got scared, maybe threatened, some even thought she'd been paid off. But no, she was watching, and now she's back with new details. And this time, she's not just ranting. She's showing receipts. Alli says she stayed quiet because the prosecutors themselves blocked her from testifying. According to her, she was told she wasn't a relevant witness, even though she had names, dates, and evidence. And now we might know why. She claims a $50 million 0 cents bribe was paid behind the scenes to make sure this entire RICO case got buried. And she didn't just drop vague rumors, she brought details, receipts, names, and yeah, even a money trail.
I'm gonna need you to get rid of all the leftover pizza boxes.
The what?
All the boxes left over from the pizza. All the boxes.
Okay.
Make sure you recycle the plastic like we talked about.
Alli says Diddy moved the money through churches tied to celebrities. Yes, actual churches. And it wasn't small-time donations either. She's talking about millions. These funds were labeled as charity, but allegedly they were funneled straight to the families or associates of jurors tied to Diddy's case. That way, nobody could track it directly back to him and everything looked clean on paper. Now here's how it works in simple terms. If someone's sliding cash through a charity, no one's checking. It looks clean, looks generous. But really, it's hush money, it's protection, and churches don't have to report the same way businesses do. That's the loophole. Alli even connects this tactic to Kris Jenner's church, which has long been under question. Remember that California community church Kris co-founded? Alli claims these kinds of churches serve as legal slush funds, ways to shuffle money, control narratives, and shield powerful people from She also name-dropped Lou Taylor, the woman who helped run Britney Spears' controversial conservatorship. According to Alli, Lou has used the exact same tactics, moving money through religious groups, trust accounts, and shell companies to keep certain people in power and others silent. And it's not just Diddy allegedly using this method. Alli says this system has been in place for years, used by top-level managers, PR teams, and cleanup crews connected to major stars. That means the Kardashians, Lou Taylor, and even some of the people behind Britney's conservatorship drama might all be interlinked in this bigger setup. And that's not even the wildest part. Wait till you hear how deep this church connection really goes and how the Kardashians, Lou Taylor, and even Britney Spears drama ties into all this.
There was freak off tapes. There's freak off tapes, y'all. Tapes. And not at one point did the jurors see anybody else at the parties with Sean Combs. There was parties. So you're going to tell me not one other person was guilty? Not one. Not one at all.
So let's really talk about this whole church situation, because that's where things get shady real quick. You've probably heard of California Community Church. It's the one Kris Jenner co-founded, and yeah, that name keeps popping up for a reason. It's not your regular Sunday service kind of place. This is a church where members are reportedly paying up to $1,000, 0 cents a month just to be part of it, on top of a 10% tithe from their income. Now tell me this, how many churches you know got membership fees like a luxury gym? That alone raises questions. Alli says these fees and tithes aren't just about worship, they're about money movement. It's the perfect front, tax-free, closed books, and tied to celebrities with big money and bigger secrets. Then you've got Lou Taylor, and if that name sounds familiar, it should. She's been involved in managing a bunch of celebrities' lives and finances behind the scenes, and it's never just been about booking tours or managing public image. Lou was the woman behind Britney Spears' conservatorship for over a decade. She was the one who had control over Britney's money, her schedule, even her basic freedom. And the thing is, Lou didn't do this alone. She allegedly used churches and trusts to move Britney's money around in ways Britney had no clue about. There were claims that funds went through religious organizations tied to Lou, with zero transparency. And who else has been linked to Lou over the years? Diddy, the Kardashians. It's not a stretch, it's a pattern. Now, I know what y'all are thinking. Why would a church be involved in this kind of mess? But go look it up. Lou Taylor isn't just some random woman. She literally helped lock Britney Spears into a financial and legal prison for 13 years. And that's been legally documented. Her name is all over court filings, legal docs, and media reports. So now the question is, if Lou could pull that off with Britney, what makes you think she wouldn't do it for Diddy? Especially when we're talking about someone who's reportedly under federal investigation, has a long list of abuse claims, and has the resources to make problems go away quietly? Now here's where it gets even darker. Alli Carter says this whole RICO charge magically disappearing, that wasn't an accident. She claims prosecutors were already building a case, they had witnesses lined up, statements prepared, people ready to talk, but once certain details started coming out, the tone completely changed. According to Alli, as soon as she revealed what Diddy allegedly did to her when she was still a teenager, the calls stopped. The communication went silent. She said she was removed from the witness list altogether. And she's not the only one. Other alleged victims who came forward with serious claims, especially anything involving child abuse, were either dismissed or ignored. Now let that sink in for a second. If someone says they were abused as a minor and instead of investigating further, the prosecution shuts them out, that's not just neglect. That sounds like intentional silence, and it's not like Alli was vague. She says she gave specifics, timelines, locations, and even people who could verify her story. And it gets worse, y'all. Alli wasn't just exposing Diddy, she called out everyone defending him, especially when it comes to the kids.
I want you to stop and think about how many people were enabling this case and how many times I have said the red and the blue side are guilty. If you are distracted right now by something as what an adult did, or you're fighting for an adult, then you weren't in the fight for the kids in the first place. Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
So now let's talk about the people defending Diddy. Because Alli Carter didn't hold back, she specifically called out folks like Lil Boosie and Funk Flex, who've been out here saying stuff like, he has kids, think about the kids. And look, we all agree, protecting children matters. But Alli was quick to flip that argument right back in their faces. She said, where was all this protect the kids energy when I was 15? When Cassie was 19? When other girls were being passed around, abused, and manipulated and nobody said a word? That's the part that stings, because when Diddy's name started getting dragged out, these same men were worried about his family, but stayed silent when other people's daughters were being violated. And let's be real. Cassie was a teenager when she got involved with Diddy. Alli was even younger. These weren't grown women making free choices. These were young girls caught in the power web of a man who had fame, money, and control. But somehow, people are only speaking up now that his kids might get embarrassed? Like, where was that energy before? It's that selective concern that Alli's calling out. The hypocrisy, folks love to scream protect the children, but only when it fits their narrative, and she's not the only one noticing it. So now let's get real. If this case wasn't about justice, then what was it really about? Think about it. We got wild headlines. Allegations from every angle. People thought Diddy's world was finally crashing down. But then, the real charge, the RICO, the one that actually could have taken him down, disappears. Just like that. Alli says the case was never about justice, it was about humiliation, distraction, and optics. She believes they let the public eat up the drama, chew Diddy up in the headlines, and once the noise died down, they quietly cleared the path for him to walk away. And when you step back and really look at the pattern, she might have a point. Have you ever noticed how these big celebrity scandals all seem to follow the same path? Huge press, public outrage, maybe a leaked video or two, everyone goes nuts, but then nothing. No trial, no real prison time, just a quiet fade out, and eventually, they're back to business as usual. Alli saying, that's not a coincidence, it's how the system works when you have money, power, and connections. And now, here we are, Diddy's free, the RICO is gone, and Alli? She's still out here trying to get people to listen. Still naming names, still connecting dots, still hoping someone finally steps up and says, yeah, something here doesn't add up. So what do you think? Did Diddy really buy his way out of the biggest charge? Is Alli Carter just reaching or finally exposing what's really going on behind closed doors? Drop your thoughts below because this tea is far from cold.